Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
Welcome back, Peter.
Thanks.
Welcome back, Peter.
Thanks.
Feeling better?
No. Oh, better.
Oh, okay.
I'm still unwell.
Feeling good?
No.
No.
I'm feeling okay. Ashton is also ill.
Yeah, welcome back, Ashton.
Worse
Hello.
than me.
I am ill.
I don't think I gave
we
it
don't
to
think
her.
there was enough overlap. It started on Monday and I hadn't seen Peter since he's been unwell. So, yeah. But we both haven't got COVID.
Yeah.
But we're both just under the weather. So
So you get sniffles in stereo today.
sniffles and coughs.
Yeah.
Aren't you lucky?
Great. Should I make a noise as well? So-
Yeah. What do you
I
want?
think it's
noise to?
inevitable
I
that
don't
you'll
know.
be making noises next week.
Yeah, I'm not
After
thrilled about
Yeah.
that. We are going to be. I mean,
My
we all
boyfriend
sit near
still
each
isn't
other.
unwell.
Okay.
And I've been
So
hanging out
maybe
with
you're
him
telling
for
me Ben's
3
are
days.
immune.
Ben's may be
could
immune.
Okay, that is.
But
the
I don't know
data
what
that
mine
I'm
is, if
getting.
mine is an illness or I just went a bit too hard at pride
Yeah, see,
and ripped my lungs apart and my
it
throat.
could just be that you've kind of run yourself down generally.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
actually, anything.
Busy
But the
weekend.
cough is real and winding me up. So,
Well, we're going to be in this room for about an hour and 20 minutes.
yeah.
We're going to be in the studio for shooting for about an hour, and then we're streaming for 2 hours
Yeah.
today.
So it's a real
So-
hot box of unwellness
Yeah.
for
It's great.
you today.
This is fantastic.
If you come out the other end and you're not unwell, then you must be a superhuman.
I believe it's also
I
possible.
like that theory.
To catch 2 colds at once. So we're
Yeah.
not safe either.
Have you had a cough? Much of a cough?
I mean, I'm a little bit coffee.
Well, maybe you're going to have Peter's sniffles and my coughs next week.
Right, so
And
I
then
will.
we'll all have that
Yeah, yeah,
next
yeah.
I'll combine it into a super virus.
Yeah.
That will. It might actually just kill James Jenkins off. Like
Yeah.
he might just die.
We'll get
Careful,
another
'cause
one
last
from
time
the
we
farm.
talked about super viruses, it was just before COVID happened.
This is true.
On main menu,
We-
and then COVID happened.
We have the
Yeah.
unfortunate ability to manifest pandemics, so
Yeah.
maybe we should just calm down.
Speaking of manifest,
Yeah.
rest in peace.
Oh yeah, rest in peace. Do you
to
remember
the
his
Carl
Carl Urban?
Carl Urban.
No, it's not Carl Urban.
Rest in peace, the succulent Chinese Australian meal.
The
Australian
succulent
man.
Chinese Australian.
Chinese Australian man. The succulent Chinese meal Australian
Yeah.
man, Carl something, who has passed away at the age of 82.
Brought us a great deal of joy over the years.
Yeah.
Excellent video. I've still got my beer cozy that I bought from his official website that
Yeah.
says "Get your hands off my penis."
Yeah, he did a succulent Chinese Pinot, didn't he?
He
could buy a
did,
bottle
which
of
is
wine.
which is exceptional, but also I don't like wine, and I wasn't about to import.
Surely
from
it could have
Australia.
been called "Get Your Hands Off My Pinot," like
Oh, it might have been that actually.
Right.
Yeah.
What
Sorry.
did you say?
succulent Chinese Pinot.
Pinot.
Oh right, yeah.
Which
I
would
think it
be-
was "Get your hands off my penis."
Yeah, I'm thinking of. I'm now just bigging myself up, thinking of the song that I
The
made,
incredible
Yeah.
remix.
where he says "succulent Chinese penis," and therefore I'm
You've
getting
really
mixed up
capitalized
now.
on his death because you posted that. On
Posted
your
it this morning. I thought, is this bad?
It was already made.
It was already made.
You made it before.
And the only reason I posted it is because I got 3 comments on it this morning on YouTube. So people have gone
wow.
to the video to say "Rest in peace, Carl something."
So if you're not
I was like,
here
I'll just post on Twitter then. all
next
right.
week, it's because your career's taken
That's
off.
Yeah.
it.
This is it for you.
Yeah,
You're gonna whoever's dead, you're
The
right
meme
there
lord.
making
capitalizing on the
making
death
music.
of a man.
Absolutely. Well, this isn't our death capitalization podcast. This is our video game podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. Each and every week, we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. Helps us keep the singular bulb on in this room. Dead Island 2
still
the
one up
Spider
there.
is where?
Up there. Oh dear.
No.
My voice has gone bad.
That's it.
Sorry.
I see him. Yeah, I see Dead Island 2 the Spider. Excellent stuff. Peter, I believe you have the ad read in front of you.
Got it right here.
There.
Hey, at last, you can now play it on PS5.
What?
We've been
Hey,
waiting
what?
for it for ages.
What?
What?
That classic title now emulatable on PlayStation 5.
What?
You know the one where there's a great big glass container with like celebrations in it, and you have to go in there and take out. Oh, that's a Mars. Yeah, no, I don't.
Is this
want
one
that.
of your weird Christmas family games?
Twix? Yeah.
Yeah, like the carrot one.
Do I
Yeah.
want that? No. There it is. It's the coconut one. No, I want the coconut one. No,
Bloody
I
hell.
want the coconut
It's like
one.
I'm in the room. It's
I'm
incredible.
so confused.
Jar Wars Bounty Hunter is now available on PlayStation 5.
That's very good.
Does it mean anything to Americans? Do they have bounties over
I
there?
don't
I think I want to say yes.
Okay.
They know what jars are.
They do know what jars are. Yeah, I hope so.
And bounties.
For
Yeah.
context, if you don't know what a bounty is, it's a coconut chocolate bar.
It
Yeah.
comes in a tub of celebration.
In a little form.
Do you like them?
No.
Not really.
I do. I like them a lot. I think
My
they're very
boyfriend
tasty.
likes them.
I do
It's
actually
not
like.
a Ben
Ben
thing. It's a Ben
Yeah,
thing.
it
It's
is.
just a Ben thing.
I like coconutty things. Like I like coconutty biscuits and things, but I'm not keen on the chocolate.
Not a coconut fan myself.
Get your hands off my Kino.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're not sponsored, unfortunately, by, what was it?
Jar Wars Bounty Hunter.
Jar Wars Bounty Hunter. We are, of course, sponsored by wonderful patrons. If you go to patreon.com, support us over there, you get access to Worst Games Ever and Weirdest Games Ever before anyone else, exclusive access to episodes of Rules Boss and Main Menu. We're shooting one of those today, fingers crossed. There is a fire alarm due at midday, which is, we're on a time limit here. Otherwise, the end of the podcast, they just may call time on the podcast. We just have to go, okay, thanks, bye, we're going now.
They might do it a bit earlier than 12.
And then we have to leave and come back.
We've been told 12. So, yes, patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Thank you so much for supporting us over there. TripleJU.mp is our website. That's where you can find links to everything that we do, our YouTube, our Twitch, our Discord, if you want to get a cameo from one of us. TripleJumpShop.com if you'd like to get some merchandise. We're all wearing merch today.
Yeah.
All right, just that.
Just that. Yeah. I'm wearing a Times shirt.
Yeah, I
Nice.
don't get that anymore.
Can't get it.
Exclusive.
Absolutely. So thank you very much to everyone for all of your support. A couple of things out on the channel this week, guys.
Yes.
Yes. Oh
I'm
my
so
goodness.
sorry.
You okay?
It's going to be like this for a while.
That's
I think.
all right. Do you want me to
it's-
read
You want
it?
us to take over?
It's all right.
anytime.
Okay.
I'm going to have to talk during this podcast at some
fine.
point.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest games ever week. We played the Dog Island.
Yes.
If I had a voice, I would be louder and shouting. It was good fun. We never got to the Dog Island.
No.
Spoilers.
It was really hard.
It was really hard.
Yeah, never
so
fought any enemies.
yeah, but we played it for like an hour and we still didn't get to the Dog Island. So check that out on Sunday.
It was weird though.
It was weird.
Yeah. Also, every Call of Duty game ranked from worst to best. In our notes, it just says every COD ranked. So I don't know if it's about fish or video games, but
You'll have
could
to
be.
find out by watching
Yeah.
the video.
Number 3, Haddock. It's not
Really?
kind of
No,
COD.
this is top three COD reviews.
Top 3 COD is Haddock.
Yeah. There you go.
Excellent. There's one final thing I'd like to bring up, actually. From my stream starting next week, I'm going to attempt to construct a Triple Jump brand roster within WWE
Doing that
2K24.
flipping wrestling again.
I'm doing that flipping wrestling, which means I need your help to design and build an army of Triple Jump Cinematic Universe friends, be they William Walrus there, or Beggy Mops, or Emma the Bear, or I think there's plenty of us three already on there.
Yeah.
So any and all.
Tony Baboni.
Tony Baboni, yeah, Barbara Piss already exists. If you make them and you could upload them with the hashtag Triple Jump, or one word, obviously, that will help me massively. It save a lot of time from me having to create Dave Benson Phillips myself, for example. So
Mr. Blobby. He'll
yes.
exist already.
Mr. Blobby will exist.
absolutely.
Simon Miller will already be there because he's an actual wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any help you can do in WWE 2K24 would be greatly appreciated. A couple more things to bring up before we go on. Unfortunately, last week we didn't get a question about all of the job losses at Bungie, and that story broke literally the day we were recording the podcast. Just want to say that's awful, and we hope that those who have lost their jobs are able to find new employment soon. It's truly awful story. So many jobs lost, and dreadful. And the other thing is, I am forgotten what it is. It's in my brain.
Didn't write it down.
I didn't write it down because I thought we should talk about it. It's the Borderlands movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Borderlands movie is out this week. Very exciting.
We're going to see it
Reviews are as predicted.
Are there worse?
They're worse.
They're
I would
saying
say
it's not
they're
even
worse.
so bad it's funny. It's like, no, this is just a really
dreadful.
awful movie.
I'm like, all right, bet. If it's not so bad, it's funny. I
right,
don't
bet.
believe you. I feel like the Uncharted movie was bad and funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can it be bad and not funny?
Very few things are so bad that they're not funny, especially if they're like rooted in a pre-existing property.
Yeah.
It just instantly makes it funny.
It's gonna be funny.
Fraser's summary of the reviews were, if you like the game, you're going to hate it. That was
That is what a video game adaptation should be.
This is what we have been wanting and looking forward to. So we're watching it tomorrow after we've recorded the podcast, but next week, Ashton and I will talk
I'll
about the
give you
Borderlands
the
movie.
big debrief.
Apparently all the jokes just fall flat.
Can't
and
wait.
Brilliant.
Can't wait.
We're going to be the only people in the cinema, I think.
Yeah, and we're also going to be the only ones laughing.
Who's actually excited for this?
Me.
I'm not even going with them. If
No.
that wasn't clear,
Peter
when
said
they
that
say
he
we're
didn't want-
going,
he didn't
I'm
want to
not
come.
going.
Peter was up. No, absolutely
I
not.
Yeah.
didn't even go to see Mario, which was actually
Decent.
like quite
Or
good apparently.
Uncharted. You didn't come see
Yeah, or
Uncharted.
Sonic. Not seen any of them.
Now, to be fair, we haven't.
You aren't
gone to
even
go
a
see
real
Sonic.
gamer.
I'm not even a real gamer.
Sonic
And you know
movies are
what?
great.
I'm going to be happy on Saturday or Sunday, whenever you're going.
Friday.
One of those
Just to be
days.
happy all the days. So
Well,
I'm
also
gonna start
Saturday,
bragging.
you'll still be sad having watched it on Friday
It's true.
night, I think.
We'll have a Borderlands hangover.
Yeah.
Very sad. Wonderful. Those are the only other things that I wanted to bring up there. Should we do question one?
Yeah,
Let's.
it's a double pack. It's from Ferris Wheeler and Ollie Horn.
Wow.
I assume they're in order.
That's Ollie's horn.
That's
It
Ollie's
is, yeah. And
So-
Ferris is real. I assume the first one is Ferris Wheeler?
Yes,
Yes.
Ollie is the addendum.
Okay. Ferris says, Hola, Bap. It seems Game Informer has become another casualty in the ever-evolving gaming landscape. While this isn't exactly shocking, the fallout of this has taken an unexpected turn. Not only are they shut down, but they've seemingly wiped themselves from the face of the internet. According to an article from Forbes, all links that once directed to any article Game Informer ever wrote now simply redirect to an RIP splash page. While these changes are inevitable, it's crushing to me that so much can be erased from the internet in an instant. What are your thoughts? Ruefully yours, Ferris Wheeler. And Ollie adds, do you have any fond memories of gaming magazines? Demo discs, maybe? Warmest regards, Ollie.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
lads.
I've got a bit of the Forbes article here. It pretty much just sums up the question, but there is an extra detail here which kind of baffled me. GameStop suddenly closed one of the most venerated outlets in video game journalism yesterday, laying off its entire staff, with many being informed by a statement that appears to be written by AI.
Hooray.
So they had a whole
We're
fleet of
doing it.
writers and couldn't even get the final message written by a human.
Yeah.
While it's bad enough to lose your job, with what the past and present writers found shortly after is that Game Informer is not just closed, but the entire website has been wiped from the internet. Not just the homepage, but every single historical link to any Game Informer story in decades now redirects to the AI goodbye message. And that's it. I've got the message if you want to know what it says, but it's just...
Can you read it like a robot?
After 33 years of bringing you the latest news, reviews, and insights from the ever-evolving world of gaming, already it sounds like an AI. doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It is with a heavy heart that we announce the closure of Game Informer. From the early days of pixelated adventures to today's immersive virtual realms, we've been honored to share this incredible journey with you, our loyal readers. While our presses may stop, the passion for gaming that we've cultivated together will continue to live on. Thank you for being part of our epic quest, and may your own gaming adventures never end.
Oh,
Thank
How did
you,
I
robot.
do? Please leave feedback to ChatGPT.
to improve my performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, this AI stuff. Did you see? I think it may have been Jason Schreier who tweeted, I put a similar prompt through
Right.
chat GPT.
Yeah.
GPT.
GPT like 5 times, and all the statements generated look very similar to this.
Right.
And people who have run that statement through an AI checker have had it flag up almost every time. So this is what an insult.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
What an
awful.
insult.
This is not only is it an insult to the people who were staff and worked on this stuff, it's an additional insult, or adds insult to injury, or injury to insult, that the people who've enjoyed the content for so long and are big Game Informer fans have just now lost access to things that they may have found a useful resource. It's a worry to me that whenever we do worst games ever, not to make this about me or us, but whenever we do a worst games ever or weirdest games ever, and we look up science facts, we go to GameFAQs or Moby Games or similar such websites, and literally every single time I go on one of those websites, I'm like, thank God this resource exists. And in the current day and age, I'm amazed that it exists at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if it vanished overnight. And the same, you could say the same for reviews and all sorts of information and interesting deep dives that Game Informer may have done. For all of that to just vanish off the internet, I mean, hopefully it's all been archived by like the Wayback Machine and stuff. I've not actually checked. I should have.
I think there's like a community of people who are actively trying to get some of it now.
Yeah. So hopefully it the material at least will be saved. But yeah, that's awful, especially for the staff to find out not only that they have lost their jobs, but also that all the stuff that they worked on over the years has just immediately been wiped. That it's it's awful news, and the way that it was delivered, once again, the way that the news has been delivered, particularly to the staff who are affected, is just not the way to go. If your hands are tied financially and you are simply going to have to make redundancies or close down or sell some sort of property, then all right. I mean, maybe it's because you've been giving out too many big bonuses, but we'll take that as read. If your hands are tied and you have to do it, fine. But at least then deliver the news properly to your dedicated staff.
We can and have talked till we're blue in the face about redundancies and how these things like this are terrible in terms of job losses, which is obviously true. But also from like a more kind of historical standpoint, it's absolutely terrible that all of these articles have been like removed. I know obviously people are working to try and get it back, but like they shouldn't have to. But like from just a standpoint of like, I know it's only games, and you know what, games are not the most important thing, but imagine if an entire newspaper or entire news site just was removed and every article they'd ever posted about anything is gone. And sometimes these articles might be the only one. I mean, not so much nowadays, but back like 5 years ago, it may have been that one article was posted about one thing and then no one else ever picked it up. Nowadays, you've got Kotaku quoting Game Informer, who are quoting Forbes, who are quoting Bloomberg. So like there is, you know, a lot of articles being written nowadays. But I do think that like the removal of the archive and just the destruction of all of these like articles that have been written about anything is absolutely terrible. And we talk about video game preservation all the time, and I know that this isn't necessarily the games itself, but the media that surrounds games and TV are so important culturally to look back on that I think it's a really, really big shame that these have all gone. And also from a perspective of someone who's just lost their job, their entire portfolio of things they've written is now gone, and unless they've got copies of every article they've ever written, they may not have access to this portfolio. They can be like, I wrote this, because it's gone now and it just takes you to an AI generated statement. So I think it's an absolutely huge shame about Game Informer, and I'm really sorry for everyone who worked on it.
I was just looking then on we're currently our writer Kat is working on a bit of a deep dive on a certain game that was cancelled and sort of became another game, and you know it's kind of a history in the development of that. And one of the links to some of the interesting information that came out about it was Games Radar, and you know that's the sort of thing where, all right, you know, articles where it's saying like, oh, coming soon, Uncharted or whatever, you know, that in itself, everything should be preserved, of course, if it can be, but. You know, an article that just says, hey, this game's coming out, or hey, we've reviewed it and it's quite good.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But to lose like really interesting, like, hey, we've heard from an insider who worked on this cancelled project and they've even sent us this bit of artwork that they did. You know, that kind of stuff could potentially be lost if, you know, the same thing happened to, say, Games Radar or similar. And it will have been lost, I'm sure. Some of the stuff that Game Informer will have reported on and some of the scoops that they will have had might be the only article out there that has a certain little bit of information on something that was maybe cancelled or, you know, some kind of insider knowledge.
Game Informer's reputation preceded itself online, at least, because we don't have that publication in the UK. But they often did get the initial first look at an awful lot of games. And so I saw a tweet earlier from someone who was, you know, obviously upset about the loss of Game Informer, and they posted front covers of, I think they had a front cover for Borderlands, the first one, and Fortnite, both of them in their original, you know, the original visions of those games, which ended up being completely different from how they ended up being. So, you know, again, from a historical standpoint, that's really significant. A lot of complaining has been done online, and rightly so, directed towards the CEO of what's it called? GameStop, who I believe is called Ryan Cohen, who I went on his Twitter just to have a look, and it's like there's nothing about GameStop or Game Informer. It's a lot of Trump stuff. The only thing that I saw on there was the word Trump in all caps. 46. I counted 46 Trumps. And then it said show more, and I didn't click that. So this is the sort of level of
Who this guy
This
is.
is this guy. Yeah, this is this guy. And I've got a little quote here from another article that says GameStop didn't immediately reply to a request for comment. Last year, GameStop CEO and chairman Ryan Cohen told staff that every expense at the company must be scrutinized under a microscope and all waste eliminated, according to an email obtained by Kotaku. A lot of people who worked for the magazine have been calling this guy out specifically about how he's been managing or mismanaging. It sounded like Game Informer, their latest magazine, was apparently about 70% of the way through, and they had a really cool cover story and stuff, and it genuinely feels like the rug has just been pulled out from under them on this, which is, as you guys said, it just seems to be happening daily.
Yeah.
Not just the job losses, but just the sudden plug pull is
especially when you know the kind of community that gamers are. Anyone would know that, like, if I've got to close down my big gaming news website soon, all you would have to do is put an announcement out saying, unfortunately, at the end of the month or this time next week, we're going to have to pull the plug, and for whatever reason, we're going to have to remove every single article. And that if you even give people 24 hours or 48 hours, there are enough very clever gaming nerds out there who could run some kind of script that would instantly save every article that was ever written. You don't even have to do the work yourself. Just give people enough notice. Now, as you say, fortunately, it seems like people are able to salvage stuff regardless of what's happened. But it wouldn't have taken much to say, as of this day, sadly, we'll be shutting down and we're going to have to remove all our articles. Save what you like. Here's your time limit. They would have done it overnight almost.
Yeah.
But now it's just a struggle to save what we want.
Yeah, it's a terrible situation. Fortunately, in the UK, we've still got a relatively competitive gaming magazine market. It's obviously nowhere near what it was, but the likes of Play, Edge, and PC Gamer are still in circulation. There are a couple of other ones as well, Retro Gamer and things like that. So the magazine industry in the UK is struggling just as much as everywhere else. But it certainly seems that we're batting. What's the term? Batting above average? That's not it, is it?
I think so.
We're batting at least 6 gaming magazines.
Baseball metaphors.
Or cricket. Don't really know which one it is.
True.
It's a sport. It's a sport.
In
anyway,
the UK, we're batting for the other side, is what Ben's trying to say.
Thank you. Those were the words that were trying to come out of my mouth hole. To answer Ollie's question, though, do you guys have any fond gaming magazine memories at all? Ashton's face curling into a smile because
I don't have any. I was a Beano kid, and that's what I am.
Which was your favourite Beano strip?
I love all Beano. I like Minnie the Minx.
Yeah, Minnie the Minx was good, yeah.
Yeah. I also like the Dandy as well, but that's...
Dandy's a different one.
I had every annual for like 7 years.
Did you?
Oh, God, remember magazine annuals? Do they still do those?
I think they
I
still
thought they do
exist.
football annuals,
I
don't
think
they?
you still get like the Beano annual. And
Is the Beano still going?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Happy for them.
I bet it's woke now. I say that because the only reason I know the Beano still exists is because someone wrote an article. I can't even remember what they'd done. They'd made some decision where, oh my God, how awful and liberal is this that they've done to this character? I don't know what it was.
Is it just because it's...
Dennis the Menace is now Dennis the Womanist.
Oh my God, probably.
Is it just like marginally more inclusive and representative of the people who read it? Is that the
introduced
issue?
a character of color, or
How dare
like,
that's disgraceful.
it's something like that.
I'm never going to the dentist again because that's the only place the Beano is.
The Mentist. I think what it was. This might actually be one of the TV shows of Dennis the Menace rather than the comic. But I think they toned down the way that Walter was depicted as kind of being somewhat effeminate. Because that's like Walter was like his sort of the geeky like villain in Dennis the Menace, and I think they said this is a bit problematic. It's potentially a bit homophobic, and that was a terrible thing to do. Apparently,
God forbid, eh? Yeah. God forbid.
Anyway, that's about the Beano.
I digress a lot. I never had a subscription to a gaming magazine, but it would be occasionally, like if I was at an airport about to go on a plane, or perhaps if I wasn't feeling very well and I was like laid up in bed, I might get a magazine, and it would be, choose what you want. I wouldn't be forced to have a gaming one, but I would always choose to have a gaming magazine. And so, yeah, to me, it's kind of an association of like, they were a really good way to pass some time, maybe get a little bit of comfort in a time where you're not feeling well or bored traveling or something like that. And of course, demo discs are brilliant as well.
Demo dicks, did you say?
I
Richard,
think
you
I
talking
said
about Dick
demo
Machenko?
discs, but I may have said demo dick.
We talking about Dick Machenko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big fan of demo discs. And it's the kind of thing where certainly in the 90s, I remember playing like every game on a demo disc for like an hour or 2 hours. Kind of that you would get as much fun out of putting a demo disc into your console and playing that as you would just playing whatever your most recent game was, in my experience. So yeah, it's more of a nostalgic memory for me rather than a more recent thing, because it's been a long time since I bought a magazine. But
I was never allowed gaming magazines around the PS1 era because they usually had Lara Croft posing inappropriately on them,
and the
like
back pages had all sorts.
Oh, just like sex phone numbers, all over the place. I mean, they still had that all through the time that I was reading gaming magazines, but it was either that or it was, here's the most realistic and horrifying creature you've ever seen from the new Resident Evil.
Yeah.
My mum was like, you're not getting that. You'll have nightmares. And she was right. However, I do remember seeing the first ever edition of PSM3 magazine, which was at Future Publishing for a long time, which had an Army of Two cover on it around the time that the PS3 was announced. And that was when I think they were PSM2 before that, and they were doing PS2 coverage. And over that magazine's lifetime, I bought every single copy of that and read every single copy. And the people who were involved in it and writing it they were like rock stars to me. Like I still remember their names. And when I did some work experience at Official PlayStation Magazine, which in the UK was also based at Future Publishing, I saw Dan Dawkins, who was the editor, I still remember his name, at the same train station that I was getting on the train to go to Bath to go to the offices. And I wasn't brave enough to say hello, but I was like, oh my God, that's Dan Dawkins from PSM3 magazine.
Wow.
Holy flip. But yes, fondly remember that magazine, and I was very sad the day that it was cancelled.
I definitely used to get the feeling when you would read them that, it was... These guys are cool, it's a bunch of cool guys hanging out playing games and stuff.
A lot of them have dated.
We're not your
really
regular
badly.
nerds.
Yeah, they have.
Like a lot of...
aged badly.
Oh yeah, a lot of very sexist language in them.
Yeah.
Really bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Beano. But yeah, I'll miss them. Gaming. Well, it's not all gaming magazines are gone now, but yeah.
No.
When was the last time you got one, do you think?
I think I bought one when the the month the PS5 launched. I think I got Official PlayStation Magazine that had the PS5 launch cover just to have it, because I have the one for the PS4 as well, like just locked away somewhere. I can't even remember where it is, but I just thought it'd be a nice issue to hold on to.
Yeah.
But I didn't read it, so I just bought it.
Well, now it's time for a brand new segment that maybe we won't like because we're not feeling very well, but maybe we will like it a lot and we'll do it again next time.
I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, you probably will.
I'm feeling fantastic.
It's a segment that I think we should call What We Playin.
Okay.
Can we workshop that? It's What We Playin time. Time to talk about the games what we have been playing. Peter Austin.
Yeah.
What have you been playing, please?
I've been in a real time warp this week because I've played 2 games that have just released or semi-re-released on the PlayStation 5 and other consoles. One of them, Jar Wars Bounty Hunter. Been enjoying that. I've never completed that, the original version. I never owned it sort of in its peak, but I played it maybe like 5 years ago or something. I emulated it, and I thought, I don't really like the control scheme here, and it was a bit dated, basically. But
did they restore some stuff to it as well?
Yes. So there's like bonus content in it. Apparently, it was, I can't remember where it used to say it or promise it, but there used to be at least a rumor that you could unlock Boba Fett at the end, because you play as Jango Fett, his dad. And I don't know if it actually said it on the box or in the promotional material, or if it was just some sort of playground rumor, but it was originally intended to be an unlockable, but it wasn't implemented.
Right.
And possibly even data miners might have found that like it genuinely was in there somewhere. Anyway, it's now been fully restored, allegedly. I've not got that far yet. I have to complete the game, I think. But you can now play as Boba Fett at the end, which is an interesting thing to put back in. But yeah, I because I don't strongly remember how the original sort of worked and played, I'm not quite clued up enough to know what has been changed and improved in this version. I think the control scheme is sort of better and a bit more modernized, which was the main thing I remember struggling with a little bit back when I tried it. Not because it was a really bad control scheme, but it was just less conventional, you know, because there was an era of console gaming where everyone did whatever the flip they wanted with their controls. So far I'm having a lot of fun with it. It looks pretty good. But I've only played a few hours because the other thing I've been playing is Tombi or Tomba, the special edition, I think is what it's called, but it's just a remaster. Yes, a remaster. Interestingly, because when I heard that this was happening, I thought, oh, what they'll do is they'll just release it as Tomba everywhere now. Because originally they changed the name in Europe because Tomba means tomb or grave in Italian or something.
I was giving Ashton a little lesson last week.
Oh, right.
If Peter were here, he'd back me up.
Yeah, I believe it means tomb or something in Italian. So in Europe, it was Tombi. I thought when they bring this back out, they're just going to call it Tomba everywhere. But actually, in Europe, it's Tombi, sort of.
Okay.
The app logo thing on your PS5 says Tomba.
Right.
But the actual background art says Tombi.
Interesting.
Yeah,
right.
Or maybe the other way around. I can't remember.
They're playing all sides. So
Yeah,
they
are.
That on top.
Yeah,
right.
Just confusing
Covering
everyone.
all bases.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with that. For the most part, it's running very well, and it's nice just to go back and experience that again. I don't like the remastered soundtrack, partly because they've just slightly changed some of the melodies and stuff. And whenever they do that in these remastered soundtracks, it's really noticeable. And it feels like there's someone there playing it and making a mistake. It's like, I don't mind if you want to innovate and add to it, but don't slightly change the tune, because that just sounds like an accident, even if it wasn't. And also, occasionally, the music seems to just cut out and then cut back in again. I think it might be being triggered by me, like, taking damage or something and a sound playing, and it seems to sort of stop the music and then it comes back. But I've only noticed that, I believe you can, I've not checked this actually, but I think you can switch back to classic soundtrack in the options. And at the moment I've been playing on the remastered soundtrack just to give it a chance. And I'm hoping maybe if I switch to original, it might not have this same issue. Or, you know, it might just be patched out anyway. But anyway, I'll be streaming that properly on Monday. So if you want to catch at least a couple of hours of that game, if not the full thing, if people want to see me stream it week on week, then yes, Tomba or Tombi. And the sequel's coming out as well, I think, being remastered, which I'm really looking forward to.
That was a gifted code as well.
It was, of course. Yes, that was a gifted code. So technically, #ad.
Yes.
Yeah.
I played a few things this week. Played some more Suicide Squad. I have not yet killed.
Your throat committed suicide. As well.
I have not yet killed any of the Justice League. I'm still faffing about.
What? Respectfully,
I've just dealt with Lex Luthor.
Oh, okay.
And now I've got to go do something, but I keep turning it off.
Why?
Because I'm like,
She's sick.
Because I feel
because you love it so much that you want to. You want to just, you want to make it last.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Knew it.
I keep like booting it up, playing it for like an hour, and then being like,
this is dreadful.
this is the same thing again. I'm in the same place again.
And the worst thing is, because it was a gift, you're obliged to complete
I
it
know.
100%.
I feel like.
You have to plan.
Hashtag gifted.
Hashtag gifted. I played last night some Bishi Bashi Super.
Oh, nice.
And Bishi Bashi Hyper.
Okay.
Cool.
Ben has been playing with his what's it called? The little mini PlayStation 1. What's that thing called?
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
PlayStation Classic.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
But-
Classic Mini, I think it was called or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mini, classic, mini, small, tiny.
Yeah. So we were playing that last night, and my favorite game was called Toss the Uncle, and you basically had to
Bloody
just
hell.
Goodness me.
send a bunch of uncles out of a cannon onto a moving plate. I
Right.
won it big time. I had like 40 uncles on my plate.
Nice.
Ben
That's
had like
so
6.
many uncles.
Yeah.
So many uncles. I was just spamming the button.
I've not heard. I've heard of Bishi Bashi Special, but not
Bishi Bashi Special and Bishi Bashi Hyper were on the same thing.
Your boy knows how to make things happen.
Yeah.
So I assume he's put additional games on his classic.
I
is
think
it?
so, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I don't think that was on the base.
I don't think it was, but then it was a pretty weird selection,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't surprise me if it was. But I
Yeah.
don't remember it being on there.
I'm not sure, but I was having a great time, and I was like, we should definitely play this on content at some point because
Yeah.
it is weird. So maybe weirdest games
Very
ever.
weird.
And the other thing I've played, and I bought it this week, is Cult of the Lamb.
Oh,
I've been wanting to play this game for ages, and I've been kept like kind of putting it off because I missed the sales. But then it was on sale this week for $10 on PlayStation, so I was like, "Hey, let's do it." I've not got anything else right now. Outlaws isn't out for a few weeks, and I'm kind of just treading water until then.
Me too.
So I've booted that up, and I've been really enjoying it. I've been giving all of my cult followers just like the most bland names ever. Like you've got like Boris and Frank and George and Harry.
do you name your cult in it as well?
Yeah, my cult is called the Gay Agenda.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. And I've been really, I've been having a good time. I'm not like the best at the combat, but that's okay. I get a bit lucky with something and then I win. But I've been having a good time, and I am excited to play more of that. It has been good.
Excellent.
So yes.
How did you find? Forgotten the name now. The game that you streamed.
Thank goodness you're here.
Oh,
Yeah.
can I talk to you about that? I've also played that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would like to talk to you about that.
You want to talk to me about it now, or
We
do you
can talk
want-
about it now, yeah.
Okay.
I have
I'm look-
finished it.
I'm
Me
looking at playing it. It looks like a lot of fun.
It is good.
Yeah.
So it's a slap former, is what they call it.
Yeah, it's like two and a bit hours long. 'cause
And
I
it
stream.
is, if you're familiar with Untitled Goose Game, it's basically that, where
Yeah.
you just complete things in an area and then you get access to another area and
Yeah.
you loop back around yourself. And when you come round, something's changed or something
Yeah,
new,
yeah.
some new weird thing has happened. It's very Yorkshire. It's very surreal and strange.
There was moments that had me like actually laughing out loud because of like just like a silly little thing, or just like they'd say something, or there'd be a sign that was one that was like polite notice, and then the sign just said hello, and it made me laugh because I was like, how very polite.
Did you get to the guy who's just pushing sausages through the fence?
Yeah.
okay.
And then he says, "You've had enough, you greedy little pig,"
He
and
has,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, I haven't.
It's
The bit that made me laugh and made me a bit sad is where you go down the chimney over and over again. And then the very last one, I was like, oh, I feel bad for this man.
poor man. Yeah. I finished it last night. I didn't enjoy it as much as everyone else did.
Oh, really?
Which, I love the idea of it, and I'm really glad it exists. And there were definitely moments where I did think it was funny. But it was a bit too weird for
Yeah,
me.
I can see that.
It was a bit too strange, a bit too Mighty Boosh in
Yeah.
a
Right.
sense,
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah.
it's like it's kind of bizarre for the sake of it, and I'm really glad that people are loving it. But I came away from it sort of like that was really weird, but not necessarily in an enjoyable way.
It's
think
long
it-
enough that like it's you feel like you've got enough by the end of it. You've kind of
Right.
reached your quota of like, yeah, this has filled me up with weirdness, and now I'm happy.
I'd still
it's done.
recommend everyone play
It's
it.
good
Yeah,
that
it's
not
good
too
fun.
long, I guess, if it's like
Yeah.
that. Because I find, I think there's a really fine line with kind of surreal comedy. Like, I really don't get Mighty Boosh, but I do quite like Bob Mortimer and Vic Reeves. And it's like, why do you like one and not the other? They're all very weird people who just say strange things for the sake of it. But it's
There's
just
like
different
definitely
tastes.
some things where like I was a bit like, oh, this is weird just because. But like, yeah, I can see why it might not be entirely your cup of tea. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of like British surrealist humor anyway. I just found like I more laughed at like the jokes that were kind of on the walls and like the things that were happening
There's so much
around.
detail.
Yeah, the detail was the thing that made me laugh more than the actual like weird surrealist thing. But like I said, I definitely recommend playing.
Yeah, I'll give it a go for sure.
From a game perspective, I did enjoy it. Like it's very almost WarioWare bishy bashy in a couple of places where you are just doing strange stuff that is really bizarre. And I really like the style, the visual style of it as well. Like the guy you're playing as, his eyes often just like point in different directions.
Yeah,
and
he just gets like smaller and bigger and like changes size.
Yeah.
Like you walk in and you're like this tall, and then you walk onto someone's chest and you're like the size of an ant, and it's like cool.
The animation style will get worse or better depending on how far away from the camera you are and stuff. So yeah, like there's so much to like about it, but I think it's just one of those things where it's been put on such a pedestal already
Yeah.
that I didn't get the same thing out of it that a lot of other people did. But it's very affordable. I think it's actually.
I think it was like £13. I think on Steam.
It's cheap for PlayStation Plus subscribers as well. Like there's a percentage off at the moment. There was anyway. But yeah, like, I'm glad I played it. But I'm not. It's not. It's not what I was hoping for. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, that's thank goodness you're here, which exists and is I can see it doing really well in awards season.
Yeah.
I think it'll get a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Andrew's been playing on Cultaholic, I think, as well.
that doesn't shock me at all.
No.
The Yorkshire boy
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
the Yorkshire game. I have played a number of things since last time. I finished off Remnant 2 and the final boss.
Any more big cubes?
No big cubes. Well, this is what I was about to say. The final boss is, I can confirm, not a big cube that rolls around.
Damn.
And it took us maybe 15 attempts to take it down, considering we're playing on easy. A ridiculous difficulty spike right at the end, and I was just like, this is stupid, this is a silly game, this isn't fun anymore. At least with the big cubes, we were playing with big cubes, and what's not to love about that? But this was just like, here's a thing that can do loads of damage to you, and we're just gonna like really discombobulate you and teleport you between two different planes of existence while you fight two kind of different bosses, but they're the same bosses. And psych, there's a second phase. No other bosses in the game have a second phase, but this one does. It's like, God, why did you make it so hard at the end? And then the whole thing, despite them having seemingly put a lot more effort into the voice acting and the story and trying to explain what's going on rather than it be just kind of abstract like the first game was, it sort of ends with a shrug that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Clearly building up to a third game, but it felt like there wasn't any kind of payoff for finishing it, which was, anyway, that's not why I wasn't playing it for the story. So I did enjoy it on the whole, and I look forward to seeing what they do next. I have played some more Final Fantasy VIII. I've made it to the second disc. I am enjoying it. I still think the junction system and the magic is needlessly convoluted and very silly, but I am enjoying the story and the characters, and I feel like that's the most important thing. What I'm most blown away by, and maybe blown away is not the right term, but just how little of the open world you actually see or are asked to traverse, at least on the first disc. A lot of it feels like quite linear, sort of story-focused stuff, which I am, don't get me wrong, I'm actively enjoying. But I only had to go to the open world like a handful of times, and it was literally like, go west, and you go west for, maybe 3 or 4 random encounters worth of going west, and then you're at the next place where the story is. And obviously I'm playing, as I said before, with some certain help enabled, which means that I do not have to grind to level up, which is probably where most people spend a lot of time in the open world. But I am really enjoying it, and I like how it's a different change of pace from 7, and I may go on to play 9 after I've finished it, maybe. Having finished Remnant 2, though, I was looking for another co-op game to play that was a bit like it, and I started Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, which is that ridiculous Dark Souls-like game that they released a few years ago, where the guy is called Jack and he yells about chaos, and they're all dressed in like modern clothes, and it's really weird and it's dreadful.
Okay.
I really don't like it at all. The combat's kind of crap, and it's just got like the worst menus you've ever seen. The tutorials are horrible.
You're going to keep playing it though?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, maybe not. But the tutorials pop up incessantly and they're so tedious and don't really explain what's going on, and it's just like, having played it for 2 hours, it's a horrible first 2 hours. Really, like just pulls you down with the amount of stuff that it's trying to throw at you. So if I do play some more, I hope it improves, but its reputation is earned, I think I would say, for that game. But that's not all. I finished off House of Ashes that I was playing through. That's great. Got an ending I've never had before. That was pretty fun. And I played a little bit more Minecraft, and then Thank Goodness You're Here as well as the last thing I played. So I've been all over this week.
Yeah.
All over.
Well, it's time now for question 2, which comes from Retro Robin. Hi, Bap. Bit of a silly question for you. The infamous PT demo is now 10 years old.
Jesus.
Yes, you read that right. Can you think of any similar moments in gaming that were a stark reminder of your own morality/youth? Mortality/youth. All the best, Robin.
Thanks, Robin.
Thanks, Robin.
I was trying for a while to think of an example of this, and I couldn't. And then suddenly it came to me, and I was like, oh, it's unfortunately a game that I never stopped talking about. But I think it's quite an interesting example. So the recent...
Right, which one?
It's only one of...
Right.
It can
Hold
only
on.
be two
No,
or
there's
three.
a few.
Okay.
Which one?
Well, you said recent, so it's probably
Recently.
Tomb Raider or Bounty Hunter. But
No, I don't think so.
right, so we've got Hogs of War, we've got
Orcs Must Die.
Orcs Must Die,
Spyro.
There's Crash Bandicoot, of course.
Yeah.
There's that one with the little monsters who fight each other, the weird one that he loves on PS1. Unholy War.
Unholy War,
Yeah.
I suppose there are a few, actually.
There are a
Yeah,
few.
there are.
That makes me feel a bit better. It's not like there's just one game I constantly talk about.
No.
Anyway, you're wrong. It's none of those.
Done.
What? How is it none of
There's
those?
another one.
You,
What the
you missed
heck?
Beyond
It's like-
Good and Evil.
Oh, right.
Of course.
Probably the one I talk
Of course,
about the
of course,
most
of
out
course.
of everything.
Jeez.
I disagree with that, but yes.
We forgot
Well,
about it just
maybe.
like Ubisoft did.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, at least I've got an excuse to talk about it this time because this happened to me recently with the anniversary edition. There's a moment in the game where you find a spaceship that's been like hidden in the walls of your house, pretty much, by your uncle Pigman.
Yes.
And he's not there anymore, but she
Because Ashton's fired him out of a cannon.
Exactly. Yes, your
Of course,
uncle.
your uncle.
Yeah, but Jade uncovers it, and it's been there since she was a kid, apparently, just like hidden away. And she's sort of saying to herself or to him, even though he's not there, she goes, 20 years. Paige, you've been hiding this from me for 20 years, right? They used that sound clip at the end of the trailer for the 20th anniversary edition. And it made me think like, and the first time I played this game, you like wander it like back on PS2, you wander into this hangar. She says 20 years, 20, and I'm like, oh yeah, wow. Imagine going like all your life as a 20-year-old thinking that there's a spaceship hidden in the wall.
Imagine reaching 20 years old. full
Exactly.
stop.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I felt at the time. 20 years old and there's a spaceship been hidden in the wall all the time. And then hearing that sound that they've attached the 20th anniversary edition made me think, wow, it's been as long as Jade lived her entire life with a spaceship in the wall.
Jade's 40.
Jade is 40 now. It's been that long since this game first came out, and within like about 2 years, they first started teasing a sequel. And I was like, wow, it's clever to use that sound clip in the trailer, but also it's almost a little bit insulting that they're saying, we've been hiding this from you for 20 years, or we've been hiding the sequel from you for 17, 18 years. So I was like, wow, I've now spent as much time waiting for another game as Jade had lived her entire life with a spaceship in her walls. So yeah, that was a recent one for me. I was like, oh yeah, clever trailer. Thanks, Ubisoft.
Mine was relatively recent too. I was talking to someone at the theatre about like, oh, what games you used to play and stuff. Because as soon as I tell them my job, they're like, what games do you like? So then you have to go back through the catalogue. And there was someone sat with us who was like freshly 18. And I was like, well, yeah, I had like a DS. And she was like, what's a DS? And I was like, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up right now.
Yeah.
It's happening to me. I was like, it's like it was like a console that you like flipped open. It had like 2 screens. She was like, oh, cool. Is it like a Switch? And I was like, I'm gonna
Like a Switch.
I'm like, I need a shot of something strong right now. But I was like really reminded of the fact that like I'm exiting the young and becoming like a proper adult that has like references to things that young people don't understand anymore. So
Sucks, doesn't it?
yeah, I've decided I'm just never ever going to mention a DS ever again. I'm going to be like, when I was on my Switch when I was younger, definitely not my DS or my Game Boy. But yeah, that was a real kick in the gut when she said that. I was like, I think you should leave. Are you old enough to be here? Get out, child.
I saw a video on Twitter yesterday that was, I think it was meant to be a bit ironic, but it was using actual stuff that they'd sourced, where it was someone saying, remember, it was a lot of like relatable stuff that would apply to any child, but it was like, remember carving on the desk at school? Remember drinking fizzy drinks until you feel sick? And it was like listing all these like nostalgic things. And then it was like, remember, hey, add me on Fortnite tonight, or something, like when you get home, add me on Fortnite. And then it was like, those times will never be back. I was like, who the hell is reminiscing about Fortnite?
Yeah.
The good old days.
The teens.
Yeah.
Peter.
Well, you said you didn't want to talk about DS again, Ashton, but the first one I've got here is starting to work with Ashton, who had a DS as a formative console.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's one I've got written down. Yeah. It's a sliding scale, as we always say, nostalgia and feeling old.
Yeah.
I got my first trophy in 2008 with Super Stardust HD. How many years ago is that? 16 years ago now. 16 years ago now. I remember very clearly renting Mercenaries 2 on PlayStation 3 from Blockbuster.
Wow.
In 2008 as well. Cycling into town and renting that. That's impossible now. Some more recent ones. Sony hasn't been at E3 for 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, 6 years, really?
Mm-hmm. The PlayStation 4 will be 11 in a few months.
11
years old.
Spoilers, when we booted up the PlayStation 4 yesterday to record a Worst Games Ever, even just navigating the PlayStation 4 menu, because I've not played mine since I've had the PS5. I've still got it, but I don't think I've booted it up. And I was like, wow, this was years ago now that I was navigating this menu.
Nearly 4 years ago. Yeah. Mental. But yeah, the main one that I've got written down is that live service titles like Fortnite are wildly popular but completely unappealing to me.
Yeah,
that I think is the most significant reminder of my own mortality, is that what young people enjoy most about video games these days are completely disconnected from what I enjoy. And I don't think that's ever going to change. It's going to get the divide is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. There's a few things that make me feel old. Apart from my bones.
Well, it's time now for something a bit strange.
Yeah.
Bit weird. Sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead, babe.
Yeah, I did, babe. Bit weird. Do you want to do the news bit?
And really up and current and happening now.
It's bone news. It's weird news time. Time for some weird video game news.
Breaking. Ashton's just found out he's called Jack Carlson, not Carl something.
The guy who died.
That's the real
succulent
news
Chinese
here.
meal guy.
Sorry to interrupt. That was really breaking.
That was
news.
real news
It
that
broke
we needed
instantly.
to. We
like
needed to
your
get.
bones.
Yes, my achy breaky everything.
Yeah.
This is the weird news section. If you'd like to submit weird news to us, you can do so weekly underneath the relevant social media post that goes out on a Tuesday.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, if it does work. It did work this week. If you'd like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, however, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, support us at the appropriate tier, and become a podcast producer just like
Chip Thompson's thumbs.
GY Goliath.
Nexus Polaris,
Nicole Hansen.
Andy Scott.
Blake Thomas,
Kyle Gary.
Eric Siu.
Great Giggity,
Michael Pendlebury.
Katie Garrett.
Hugh Jars,
Gabrielle Philipping.
And Big Money Bobby Vegas.
Wah. Thank you, everyone, for submitting your weird news. Peter, do you have one?
Waluigi entered the chat. Yes, I've got some news that was sent to us from Kyle Showen, or Shoeen. Apologies for however I mispronounced your name.
relation?
No
Top
relation.
fan?
I don't think they're even a top fan.
What?
And I said
Get
their
it
name
together,
wrong.
Kyle.
So, Kyle.
Get it together, Kyle.
It's according to videogameschronicle.com. Official JP Street Fighter tournament run by Pharma Company punishes players for not sleeping enough.
Right. When you say farmer, can you give me a spelling?
And what does JP mean?
Pharma is Farmer. No, it's not. Drugs company. JP Street Fighter. Does that just mean it's a Japanese Street Fighter
maybe
tournament?
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele Street.
A new Street Fighter 6 tournament taking place in Japan will penalise. I don't know why they've had to put official JP Street Fighter tournament in the headline, but yeah, it's just in Japan. Right.
Go
on then.
The Sleep Fighter tournament, as reported by Den Feminico Gamer, that's hyperlinked to another outlet, is an official Capcom-backed tournament being held by SS Pharmaceuticals to promote its sleep during its sleep drug. Its sleep drug, Drewell.
Can I just say that's who I buy my carrots from? Pharmaceutical.
Pharmaceutical. Yeah. SS Pharmaceuticals. The tournament will consist of 3-player teams who take part in a series of best-of-3 matches to earn points, with the team scoring the most points progressing to the next round. However, the tournament will also have special rules that introduce sleep points to the equation. Players are required to get at least 6 hours of sleep in the week.
6 hours total?
That's not a lot.
That's not enough.
I think it means each night in the week leading up to the tournament.
Okay.
Right.
A total of, it then says a total of 42 hours per person.
Right.
And 126 for the whole team. The team's total sleep hours are less, if the team's total sleep hours are less than 126 by the time the tournament starts, they will be penalized by 5 points for every hour of sleep deprivation. If their combined sleep hours are 123, for example, they will lose 15 points.
But I thought you should be sleeping 8 hours a night.
Yeah, well, I think it's like 6 to 8 as a minimum. But
Right.
8 is what you should be aiming. Or is it 8 to 10? 8 is definitely one of the numbers.
It's too many hours. That's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Can't get 8 hours sleep.
Sleep is not just for getting rid of daily fatigue, the tournament website says, because it gives our bodies and minds the power to challenge ourselves.
Oh, shut up.
By actively sleeping, you can make the most of each day and live your life to the fullest. In order to bring this active sleep to as many people as possible, we're starting the Active Sleep Project to do our best to support those who are taking on the challenge of sleeping.
Every night, an SS pharmaceutical employee will come round and club you to death with brick.
Yeah, that's the end of the article.
That's weird.
That
That's
is
it.
weird.
Yeah,
Why are they doing that?
don't know.
It's in Japanese. We'll never find out.
It's in JP.
Yeah. I have some weird news. It was submitted by at SnowyBoyYanio4 on Twitter, by Kotaku, by Zach Sveisen. Sad news. Roblox has come for Beetlejuice.
Oh,
no.
The juice is loose and trapped in a free-to-play hellish metaverse nightmare.
Oh.
After 30 years, we're finally getting a sequel to 1988's creepy comedy Beetlejuice. Do we need one? I don't know. But because everyone involved waited so long to make Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, that's the name of it, sorry. We now have to watch Michael Keaton's Ghost with the Most get shoved into Roblox in another desperate example of Hollywood trying to get young people to watch movies.
I like that because he's now just a lot older than last time, all they really have to do is put less makeup on him than they once did.
I've
Yeah.
not seen the original.
I haven't either.
I've seen a bit of it.
I've listened to the musical.
Oh.
It's really good music, actually. After numerous attempts and failures to make a Beetlejuice sequel, in 2022, Warner Brothers announced its plans to make the one we're finally actually getting. Tim Burton is back directing in a follow-up alongside new and original cast members like Keaton and Winona Ryder. One of these new actors, Jenna Ortega, was selected to share some depressing news. Beetlejuice is coming to Roblox. Announced today, the Beetlejuice Roblox experience is live now. Players can hop in and play a few mini-games, unlock in-game content for their Roblox character, and explore a digital landscape inspired by the upcoming film. And yes, you can hang out with Beetlejuice, who looks like a demented knockoff minifig based on a kid's cartoon drawing of the famous character.
They made Jenna Ortega announce that news, did you say?
Yeah, but she's in the movie.
Oh, I know she's in the movie, but I'm just saying, does she play Fortnite?
Because she's young.
She's
or
young.
Roblox, is it? What is it?
Roblox.
Roblox.
Yeah.
It's because she's young.
Even worse
Yeah,
than
yeah.
Fortnite. But this is just what Roblox looks like to me at any time I'm forced against my will to learn more about this horrible game filled with shady people, scam artists, and probably some actual kids. And so, yeah, you can go and see... and then there's a bit that says, let's read some buzzwords. We are always looking to engage audiences and amplify our reach in new and exciting ways. The first of its kind collaboration with Roblox and Fandango for Beetlejuice allows for just that. Cameron Curtis, VP of Marketing at Warner Bros., totally said out loud, for real, and not just in the buzzword-laden comment shared in the press release.
Squidgels.
Yeah, so you can see Beetlejuice in Roblox if you're 10.
I won't be seeing that.
No.
Not interested.
No.
I've got some strange news.
Do you? That's good, because otherwise it would be really awkward if you didn't.
Well, fortunately, it won't be awkward at all because Josh Lee's top fan, Relation, has come to the rescue.
Thanks, Josh.
This is an article from Ollie Reynolds and Nintendo Live.
Random.
Player discovers hilarious method to knock out guards in Metal Gear Solid 2. It's an old game.
Very current.
Hilarious.
Very current. If you're anything like us, then chances are you've been replaying Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty on and off for nearly 25 years.
No.
So I'm not like you then.
Not like you.
Yet, despite this, it seems that new things are still being discovered in Hideo Kojima's 2001 stealth masterpiece. Take those pesky guards, for instance. MGS2 offers up a smorgasbord of options to avoid or take out your enemies, including tranquilizing them in the gonads, distracting them with noise, or straight up somersaulting into them. One player has found out, however, that if you're particularly determined to complete a non-lethal run of the game, you can recruit a few seagulls to send your foes packing.
Oh.
Yes.
I hate seagulls.
Yeah, they are the worst. This is it's now got some tweets embedded in here from Bad Humans at Bad Humans on Twitter. In MGS2, guards can be knocked out by falling seagulls. This may be your only alternative if you have forgotten your PSG-1-T at the sniping section with Emma and are going for a non-lethal run.
Right.
So this is a strat that's been discovered. Would you like to see a seagull taking out a guard?
I would love to, yeah, actually.
I can hear him.
Oh, for God's sake, Elon.
Bad move.
You pillock.
He full screened the video and it just went black.
Okay, well, it's not going to rotate now.
That's all right.
That's okay.
No, you've got to see it.
Use my alphas. Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, wow.
It's good, isn't it?
That is good. I like that.
Even people who are just listening in
Oh.
on audio, I think, will have enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Hopefully
If
they heard
picked
it.
up on the microphone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so what happened there was they trank shot a seagull that was flying over the top of a guard. It fell out the sky and he went, oh, and he fell down.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Really good.
What an absurd detail that Hideo snuck into his game there.
Yeah.
What
The
a
master of games.
crazy guy that man is. And that's my weird news, which means it's time for the big discussion. It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion that this week comes courtesy of Rock Reese. Hi, Bap.
Hi.
Hello.
With the news that Warner Bros. Gaming are considering selling again. Full stop. My thoughts are brought to the numerous times that these buyouts have impacted the studios negatively. But damn it, I can't help but question it again. Is Warner Bros. Gaming division better off in the hands of anyone else? They keep saying live service is all they want and should do, even after Suicide Squad. That ignorance is a terrifying presence to have with IP everyone loves. I should also add to this that apparently a recent story that broke maybe even this morning, is that they're also considering licensing its franchise out per an earnings call. I don't have any citation for that, but I saw it posted on our Twitter this morning. I've got a write-up here from VGC by Tom Ivan. Warner Bros. Discovery is reportedly considering selling a stake in its video games business. That's according to Financial Times sources, who claim the media giant is looking to offload smaller assets in an attempt to help reverse a near 70% decline in its stock price since Warner Media and Discovery merged in 2022. It's said to be considering offers to sell Polish broadcaster TVN or a stake in its video games arm, which is home to a dozen studios. They include Avalanche Software, Hogwarts Legacy, Rocksteady, Suicide Squad, TT Games, Lego, NetherRealm, Mortal Kombat, Monolith Productions, Middle-earth Shadow of War, and Warner Bros. Games Montreal, Gotham Knights. Last month, Warner announced...
Some real stinkers in that list.
Yes, there are. Warner announced that it had acquired Player First Games, the studio behind free-to-play platform fighter Multiverses, for an undisclosed sum. Warner Bros. Discovery exec JB Perrette said earlier this year that the company's games business revolves around four main intellectual properties, which are all billion-dollar-plus businesses themselves. The article continues. But I think it's fair to say that with the exception of Hogwarts Legacy, which made all the money in the world, they've sort of not been doing very well at all. Lego does well, though.
Absolutely no idea what they are doing.
No.
And
Imagine owning the rights to all of those, as they said, huge IPs, huge names, and failing that badly to make good money.
How
on
have we not had another Arkham game
Yeah.
in all this stuff?
because, like Rockery said, they keep saying they just want to do live service. They've seen other people do it. Again, we've talked about this a lot in the last few years. But they've seen other people do it, and they're like, we can do that too. Let's make another $1 billion on this franchise. It will definitely work. And as we have said time and time and time again, that getting into the live service market is practically impossible.
Stupid.
And stupid as well.
Do it.
Yes.
So what do you think? What do you think they should do? Would you be happy to see them sell? And who would you like to see some of these studios potentially go to?
Well, yeah, I mean, Rock Reese asks, is this a good thing? Would it be better in the hands of someone else? And I think it entirely depends on whose hands it ends up in, because someone might purchase it very much with the association in mind of like, oh, Warner Brothers games, those are not only big IPs generally, and big properties, but they're in this like live service market, and I want a slice of that. So they could, whoever buys this could very easily just say yes, and we'll keep doing what you've been doing. However, it would be lovely if at least the rights to the games, if not the whole property itself, got given to someone who is perhaps interested in just making some interesting projects with those that aren't live service games. I'm not sure. I can't picture who would be interested. I saw some people saying Xbox will be buying that, they'll be snapping that up. I don't think they will. I think Microsoft have
then they'll buy it and then they'll shut it down.
Yeah, they might do that. I think they've got a lot on their plate right now, Microsoft, and I know they seem, they're always seemingly quite keen to buy the next huge publisher, but it was that difficult for them to buy Activision, which I know is, I'm sure, bigger than Warner Brothers, but I think I can't see Microsoft going for it. But just hypothetically, I would love to see the likes of Insomniac working on a single-player game based on any number of those IPs. So if it somehow fell under Sony, which again I can't see them making the purchase, but just hypothetically, a studio like Insomniac I think would do some really interesting stuff with your DC heroes. We know they can make good superhero games. I think it'd be interesting to see how Lego could be. I mean, we've already had the Horizon Lego game, so there's some relationship there with Sony already. And what else was under that banner? All kinds of things. I think it's a sort of a Sony first-party studio could do quite good things with. And I know we're Sony ponies, but they make good single-player games.
Well, I was just thinking, really, there's not that many publishers or big companies now that are kind of actively buying up studios / people are like willing to buy more properties and stuff. We saw obviously Xbox had that huge merger and then closed down a bunch of studio, let loads of people go. So I don't imagine they're going to turn around and spend more money buying Rocksteady, for example. But I also don't think, like you say, Sony will. No. And there's not that many of these big conglomerates anymore.
Even Embracer have seemingly decided, okay, that was a really bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. They're not going to buy anymore. No. So, sorry.
So I was going to say, worst case scenario is Embracer.
Yeah.
That's the worst case.
Yeah, I would love to see Rocksteady be bought and given a second chance to do something else with Batman. I feel like if they're given the rights and the freedom to do another Arkham game, I'm sure people would absolutely eat it up.
And there was supposed to be a Superman game, wasn't there? That was sort of they played around with, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think that there's lots of talented studios on there that we've seen do other things that are really good. And I mean, Rocksteady is the most kind of, I think, not famous. Well, famous, yeah, I'd go with that. Given that everyone knows Rocksteady with Arkham, and everyone was so excited to see what they were going to do with this, and then obviously Warner Brothers got their sticky fingers in it, and now it's bad. I think that Warner Bros. Should really just stop making games. I think that we need them to realize that they're not good at it, and they don't know what they're doing, and they don't have a good ethos when it comes to making games. They seem to make games with the intention of how much money can we make from this game by extorting our consumer base. They just want to make money, and they're not been incredibly opaque about that. They're pretty transparent with the fact that we just want to do live service games because that's where the money is. And I just think it would be great to see some of these studios escape from under the thumb of Warner Bros. And see what they can do. But I'm not super positive about the outcome of this. I think that we might see a few of these studios being shut down rather than sold by Warner Bros.
They should just license out the rights to any given character or world that, if someone comes at them and says, hey, we've got an idea for a project, like LucasArts or like Lucasfilm do, that you've got Indiana Jones coming from, who's making that? Is that
Ubisoft?
Is it Ubisoft? Yeah.
Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Machine Games and Microsoft.
Oh yeah, sorry, it is.
Yeah, I forgot who was making that, but you got Indiana Jones over there, and then now that the exclusivity deal has gone from EA with Star Wars, you've got all sorts of.
I was thinking about Outlaws.
And,
that's what Ubisoft is.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Ubisoft is doing Outlaws. All kinds of big publishers saying, "Oh, we're doing our own Star Wars thing," and I think that could be the way to go. Is to just say, "Hey, we're Warner Brothers. We own all of this IP." And anyone who has an interesting project, pitch it to us, and we'll license our character to you.
Yeah. Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav last year said that the company was focused on transforming its biggest franchises from largely console and PC-based with 3-4 year release schedules to include more ways on gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms.
Boo.
Yeah, so you're right, Ashton. They should have all their toys taken away.
They should.
Just for that
As
attitude
punishment.
alone, really. Looking at those studios, though, I could see, I don't know if I want anyone to buy them. I could see a situation where someone does buy some of them if they want to sell, because they're all brilliant studios. But I could also see, as long as they're able to retain the IP that they are associated with, which is a big if, I could see all of these studios being able to stand on their own feet.
Surely TT with the Lego games.
TT with Lego.
Make a shed load of money.
NetherRealm with Mortal Kombat. Rocksteady maybe not so much anymore, but certainly Avalanche is a very accomplished studio with several big hits under their belt as well. I think the real licensing would be the win here, I think. If Warner Bros. Still want to make some money and they've tried this live service thing not very well, and it's absolutely blown up in their face, and they clearly don't know how to manage these studios or even know what they want out of them, or can even connect the dots. What was it like? Hogwarts Legacy sold millions and millions and millions of copies and made them loads of money, and that's a single player game, and they were still like, we want live service, and then Suicide Squad blew up, and it's like, well, yeah, of course, but then now they still want live service. Doesn't make any sense. Then yes, if they must hold on to them, then they should license this stuff out so we get to see some different studios have a go with this IP, or at least I don't know, what are they going to do with their internal studios? Because if they do license stuff out, what does Avalanche end up doing? What does Rocksteady end up doing? And if it's live service hell, because that's what Warner Bros. Wants, then those studios are going to be transformed into something unrecognizable, where a lot of that talent ends up leaving anyway, and they're it's going to be like BioWare and so many other big studios where it's just, you've got the name, but are the people there that made it special? I don't know. I don't want to see these studios sold, though. What I would love to see is someone to have a go at a Batman game, like a proper Batman game. That's what I would really, really like. And I know it's a bit cliche because they've got all of the DC universe, but Batman is a proven quantity. People love Batman, and I don't want a Hawkman game. All right, I'm not even asked about a Superman game. I don't want a Green Lantern game. I really don't care about the Flash. I would love a Batman game.
I also agree, actually, that although he's a very iconic character, a Superman game I don't think would be very fun, because he's just invincible, isn't he?
Yeah.
You would have to arm every single goon with kryptonite, which kind of then just defeats the whole purpose of Superman being who he is.
One of his main things is flying, and it's hard to capture a flying superhero in a game because you're going to have to build some restrictive environments for them, and invariably you're not going to be able to truly let them loose. And if you do, then the level of detail in the world is going to be flight sim level, where it's flat textures. You can't. It's a very difficult thing to do. He's faster than a speeding bullet. Yeah. You see how quick he can get around the world?
So quick.
You can't render the whole world. Come on now.
He can go so fast he can go back in time.
Couldn't make a Flash game either, because if you actually made him as fast as the Flash is, it would just be unplayable.
Your console would explode as well. It's just not... How do you even capture his magnificence on a Blu-ray? He's not going to fit. It's too big.
How about they just re-release that Aquaman game that we played on
Battle for Atlantis?
Yeah.
Loved it.
That would be good.
Really good. But Warner Bros, they're terrible. They're just awful. I don't think anyone will disagree with us there. And in spite of their mismanagement, they've still managed to produce some very successful games. Hopefully, the studios responsible will get the better end of the stick on however this shakes out.
Don't want to give it too much airtime, but what do we know any details about the Hogwarts Legacy sequel other than apparently they're doing one. Do we
No
know?
idea.
No idea.
No, I'm
I
not
just
sure.
wonder whether they're also going to implement live service to that now. Say,
Oh.
hey, that went really well as a single player game.
Almost certainly.
Now let's make it.
There are
that.
so many mobile games based on very popular Warner Bros. IP that are just like, buy gems.
Yeah.
You've run out of energy. I would not be shocked if something like that is factored into any kind of sequel. But there we are. Let us know what you think about what Warner Bros. Should do in those studios. What would you like to see them make next? And if someone was to buy them, who would you like to see absorb a multi-billion-dollar entity? Our favorite.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone. There's a few places around the internet where you can find us. Peter's going to tell you a couple, and then Ashton's going to cough a little bit.
I'm so sorry about
and
the
then
coughing.
I'm going to.
right.
No, it's okay. I'm just pulling your leg, and then I'm going to read the last bit, and then
Good.
Peter's going to tell us a crap pun.
Here we go. YouTube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump to find all of our content. All of our videos, of course, go out on YouTube. And most of our streams happen on Twitch, apart from a few special ones on YouTube now and then. And if you've got Amazon Prime, you're paying for a whole bundle of things with that, including a Twitch sub. So at no extra cost, you can redeem that against us, and you get the benefits of being a subscriber without paying any more than your Amazon Prime subscription fee.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, on all of which we are at Team TripleJump if you'd like to give us a follow, and patreon.com/Team TripleJump if you'd like to support us.
TripleJ.mup, that's triplejU.mp, that's our website. There you can find links to everything we do. And why not leave a 5-star review on your platform of choice? It helps, something to do with Al Gore's rhythms, and we'd really, really bloody appreciate it. Thank you so much. Peter, I'd like to hear that joke, please.
Hey, get your hands out of the transparent container full of the Celebrations chocolates, because I want the coconut one, not you. It's Jar Wars Bounty Hunter.
There
Very
he is.
good.
He's got them all. He's got them. Tango Fett. Is that anything? You can have that for next time.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you later.
Bye.